Hey guys, welcome back. Today we start up with a more advanced function of lookup references and array, that is offset. Okay, this very important function. You need to be careful about using it and listening to what I do in this video to understand this function, because this is a bit complicated function to understand. Now, offset function, what it does is dynamically extracts a subset of rows depending on the starting cell reference and the number of rows and columns specified in its argument. Okay, so what offset does is it will give you dynamically what cells to choose, and you can work around your analysis using those specific cells. So to do that, you need to first understand what offset syntax is. So offset has 5 different parameters or arguments. First is the reference that you need to give, from where you need to start your referencing for the offset values. Then you need to specify how many rows and columns you want to use for offset to get those values. Then you need to have the height and the width. Yeah, now height and width are optional. Let's try to understand this formula or function with the help of an example, because that's how you will be able to understand. The only point that you need to understand from this particular argument is reference is anything that the cell reference or a range that you choose as a starting point for employing the offset. So offset will start wherever you tell the cell reference to start from. Rows, it indicates the number of rows upward or downward. So if you have a positive value, it will go downwards. If it is a negative value, it will go upwards. Yeah. So setting the row arguments to 3 indicates that the upper left cell in the reference is 3 rows below it. Yeah. Same way for columns, if you specify 2 positive, it will count towards 2 to the right. If you specify -2, then it will count columns to the left. Height is expressed as the number of rows to be written as a reference, and width is expressed as the column to be returned as a reference. Okay, so let's try and understand. We'll not use the optional values first, height and width. We'll just try to use rows and columns for our reference first, and then move on to other things. Okay, so I'll write is equal to sum. So is equal to offset. I want to suppose, let's work within this sales March to April. So I want to put my start reference as C4. Okay. I'll say comma, give me, not C4, I'll say C7. Okay. Let me put at C7 so that I can show you upward, downwards, how it goes. What I want is, I want 2 rows below it and 1 column to the right of it. I'll say closed. See, what I get is 2901. So my reference point was this 1680. I said 2 rows below 1680. So it got me to 425. These are 2 rows below it. And to the right, I have to go 1 column. Yeah, that is positive, I said. So it gave me the answer as 2901. So 16080, 2 rows below, since I have positive 2, and 1 column to the side, which is 2901. So that's the value that I have got. Okay. Let me specify now. I want -2. 2 rows above it. It is giving me 3768. So here, what it is doing, as I have added -2, yes, it is going 2 rows above. So 160, 1098, and since it is positive 1, it is going to the right of this particular thing, and it is giving me 3768. Same way, if I would have said -1, oh, sorry, -1, it will go on the left hand side. So it gives me 2200. So it gets here, yeah, and then it moves to the left, that is 2200. Previously, when we had a positive one, it moved to the right, 370, 3768. So it moved one cell to the right. Same way, when we had positive 2, it moved down from C7. So this was a reference cell. So 1680, which is C7, is always a reference cell. So it is moving down 2 steps and 1 to the right, since it is a positive 1. So it goes here and then here. So it gives you this 290 as a value. Same way, if I would have used positive rows and negative column, it would go to the left. It is giving me 2 rows down and 700 on the left, because I have used -1 as the column reference. Okay. So this is how you can move around with the help of the rows and the columns that you need to move around to give the value which you want to refer. Okay. So till now, I guess I was able to explain how the offset moves from rows to column depending on the rows or column or the numbers that you select, and depending on a positive or a negative value where in which direction it should go. Okay. Now, since we have reached here, we'll remove all these things now which are of no importance. We got this 4 value. Okay, I'll say no fill. We got a reference point here, which let me mark it as blue once again. Yeah, we got a reference point here, and we saw this 4 points which we can come to by using positive or negative values in the rows and columns. Now let's start using height. So I use 160. Let me use the positive one. Oh, sorry. The positive one, which is 2901. We are looking at this particular reference. Now let's use the optional parameter, which is height. So I specify height as 1 or I specify it as 2. You will get 2 values from 2901. So 2901, from there I'll get the height as 33116. If I specify here the height as 4, it will give me 4 values from 2901. So it is giving me this 4 values from 2901. Yeah. If I say -4, so let's see if it is able to take -4. Yes, it is giving me 4 values above this 2901. Yes. So this way we are defining the height, which is giving me number of values below or above that particular value that we have received using offset. Okay. So this was about height. Now let's use width. Yeah. So width, what? Oh, sorry. Let me use the same thing again. Using the same example will help you to understand it much better. Okay. So we used 2901 and -4. Let's use positive 4, which will give me down the line, which will make you able to understand much better. So we got this 4 values as in height. Now width. Width will give you on the right hand side. So if I specify, give me 2 columns from this particular value, it will give me 2 columns on the right of it. So if I see 2901, I have 300 besides it. So it gives me 2 columns, which is the width, and it gives me 4 values below it because I have specified the height as 4. So it gives me a matrix of values. Yeah. If I specify 3, it will take more values in the columns. So it has taken 3 as the width and it has taken 4 as the height. Same way I can reverse this to on the left side of the value by putting -3. So what it does, it from 2901, it is giving me 4 values down and on the left hand side 3 columns, which will give me the values of 3. Yes. So hope you understood what I'm trying to do. So from this particular reference, so you need to always have this reference from where you want to choose a particular value. So from C7, I went 2 rows down, 1 column right, and I chose 4 rows and 3 columns as per the data set that I need to evaluate. Yeah, hence I got all this value. So what I got is the cell of Jan, Feb, and March for the value for the value 2901 from, okay, let me check, 2901 is for 6. Okay, till 9th ID, I was able to find all the value. Now, what is the advanced version of what I can do with this? How I can play with it? I can add all this value together. I can just say sum of offset of all this value and give me a sum of all this value. That is 26945. So if I total this up and I'll say is equal to sum, you'll see this. If I total this up, yeah, and I say sum of all these values, this is 26945. That is what we got. And since I have used offset, which is more dynamic, yeah, according to the data analysis or kind of data that you are searching for, or kind of evaluation you are trying to do on your data, this value will keep on changing dynamically. That is the biggest advantage of offset. That's why it's one of the advanced formula, and it is not only used uh, singularly, but it is used in combination with other functions to get you a particular value. The few things that you need to remember is if any of the arguments contains a non-numeric value, then offset function will retrieve a value error. So suppose I have this as Nilesh. Okay, I'm just changing it for the namesake. You will get the value error. Yeah. So you need to be very clear when you're using offset function, because the value that you are trying to use should be a value which should not be a non-numeric value as an argument. Okay. So the argument should not have a non-numeric value. You can merge it with various functions, sum, average. Right now I did it with sum. What other thing that you need to remember is function returns the reference error. So if the rows or column offset reference crosses the worksheet's edge, then it will give you a reference error. Okay, right now we'll not do that because we cannot go till the reference worksheet edge of the worksheet. So this is how you can use offset function to get your values dynamically to create dynamic functions or dynamic analysis within your models. Hope I was able to make the things clear or make the concepts clear on offset. Hope I was able to explain all the arguments which are related to offset and how those could be used. Hope you like this video. Do like it, share it across with your colleagues who want to learn Excel. Comment if you want me to cover any topics in this 365 days of Excel journey. And yes, do not forget to subscribe to my channel because that's how you're going to get automated notification about any videos that I upload on YouTube. And yes, that will also keep me motivated towards creating such free content for your people. Thank you so much.